Welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave a 5-star review. Pretty please. I'm joined, as always, by Johnny Venerable. Johnny, we got a big game tonight, and the Suns, they're not at home, but they should feel at home with a road closeout game in the playoffs. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting the Suns W. I'm taking the Suns and the points. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Harkening back to Thursday night, draft night in late April, when simultaneously Hollywood Brown was traded to the Arizona Cardinals while Chris Paul exploded for 14 for 14 to close out the Pelicans. That's the kind of performance we are attempting to summon tonight for the Phoenix Suns. I just got off the phone with the GM, Saul Bookman, and I asked him, just cut and dry, PHNX Suns, what's his take? He thinks same thing. It's a closeout game on the road. This is where the Suns play at their best, and there's a reason, Shano, they're favored. And I thought going into this game, pick'em game, especially after the two lopsided performances against the Dallas Mavericks in games 3 and 4. Nope. Vegas is telling you they think the Suns are going to win this game.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. The spread really hasn't changed about when it goes to home and away. It's been 1 or 1.5 or 2 in favor of the Suns when they're on the road, and it's been 6.5 or 7 when they're at home. So didn't really expect anything different, and I'm glad it's not anything different. I think that you get some value here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Johnny, last night the Warriors, what the hell happened?
Well, I don't like to do this, and I texted you this morning. I will do it. Probably twice a year. I will give you massive props for the call that you made on this show yesterday saying the Grizzlies were going to win. Now, I don't think anybody expected them to win by damn near 30-plus points, especially without John Morant. I did not see it happening. Again, how many times? Old Yeller behind the barn with the Memphis Grizzlies, I thought they were done. Mm-hmm. And they came out and played a spirited game without their star player. Kudos to them. But isn't it just funny how the culture of these NBA playoffs, our mindset shifts every 24 to 40 hours. I flippin' love it. It's the best part about the postseason. 2 days ago, we were talking about the Suns must-win game at home in Game 5. Now we're talking about them cruising, hopefully, to a Game 6 victory. And then we were talking about the Warriors steamrolling and being the prohibitive favorite to leave the West. Now everything's back up for grabs. I think the Suns have reasserted themselves as the favorite to exit the West en route to an NBA championship. It's the one thing I like over the NFL. Not many. I do like the 7-game series just gives you a chance to breathe and relax a little bit, whereas in the NFL, it's one and done. And you have to stew on a loss during the regular season for a week. We picked ourselves up here, and we're going to take this home.
Yeah, going back to what you said, the NBA playoffs, it's, you feel so strongly one way about a team like the Heat or the Sixers, even when the Sixers won those 2 games, and then immediately it switches. But one thing that's not changing is how amazing the Celtics-Bucks series is, Johnny. It's the best. It's the best series. You said it when I was gone when you were with Sean the other day. It's the best games every single night, and we saw it again last night. Drew Holiday is just unbelievable. How much he picks up his play, especially on the defensive end of the playoffs. He won that last 30 seconds for the Bucks. I know Bobby Portis got that huge rebound, but that steal and the block that sealed the game was just incredible. And the Bucks ended up winning that game, which you did call last night or yesterday. You had the pick to be plus 5.5, but on the show you did say that you were taking Bucks money line. So there's some props for you as well.
I appreciate it. They've rotated victories, and home court advantage has not mattered at all. If you're the Celtics, you feel sick today. You get a performance like that from Tatum and Brown where they combine for over 50 points and you lose like that at home. The role players for the Celtics, your boy Al Horford, they did not do enough last night to get them over. And when you're trying to slay a dragon, which is what the Celtics are doing, in the heart of a champion with Giannis and company. It's an incredibly difficult thing to do, even without Chris Middleton. I'm guilty of it. I wrote this Bucks team off after that injury. I thought the Celtics were going to cruise out of the East. I still think the winner of this series gets out and makes it to the NBA Finals. But to me, Giannis is the best player in the world right now. You can't argue that. And until somebody takes them out, I mean, they have to be considered a co-favorite to win it all. So if you're a Boston fan today, it's a difficult game to come back from.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a little scary what this team can do without Middleton. I've seen comparisons with Chris Middleton being Paul Pierce, but with Giannis essentially, which I get. I think I don't know if I'd say he's better. Paul Pierce was really good in his prime, but they are comparable players, both not the most athletic, but both very, very good at creating their own shot. But yeah, that series is just gonna be so fun. I think it goes 7. But let's just get into our picks before we talk about the Suns a little bit from last night. As we mentioned, we'll go with mine first. Bucks plus 5.5, very free. Grizzly money line plus 150. That hit as well. If we want to get the last one up on the screen, yeah. And then the Miami Arizona over. I just want to talk about this for a second because oh my god. So me and Sean last night, yesterday afternoon, we went to the Marlins D-backs game at home. And you got to bet on something when you're at a baseball game, especially a D-backs Marlins game. And what better way to bet on a game than to take the over, because you want runs to be scored. It'll just be fun. They teased us a little bit in the first inning by putting up 2 runs with a 2-run shot. And they got the 3 runs in the second inning, and they got the 4 in like the 4th or 5th. And then they stopped until the top 9 with 2 outs. Marlins were up 4-1, I believe, or 3-1. And then they scored 8 straight runs in the top of the 9th with 2 outs. Me and Sean had a ladder going where we had the over 8, over 9, over 10, over 11, and then I had over 14.5. Ended up stopping at 14, but it was very fun. So 3 for 3 on those, and then prop wise, I think I went 1 for 2 on my props. Yeah, Al Horford didn't hit a single 3 yesterday, I don't think, and then Desmond Bane smashed that over. He only had 6 points at halftime, but that team they were just on a mission yesterday, and it started at the defensive end. So good for Desmond Bane and good for the Grizzlies making this more of a series, and good for the Suns if they can close out tonight, getting a little less rest for the Warriors.
Yep. We'll get to our picks for tonight. Let's check out what I had going on yesterday. Again, I was fooled by the Warriors being the dynasty that they are, taking the night off, because that's what happened last night. That got out of hand quickly, and the Warriors were like, okay, no worries, we'll see you back in San Fran. The Bucks was one of my favorite picks of the night, taking the money line straight up. You're going to have to convince me that Giannis is going down in a 7-game series, even without Chris Middleton. He's not going out like that, and home court has not mattered. I think Giannis, we saw it last year in the NBA Finals, thrives on the road. It's a very scary, difficult proposition for the Suns if it is a rematch in the NBA Finals. 1 for 2 there. But then my prop, Shano, listen, Jaylen Brown hit, cha-ching, had 26 points, felt really good about that. Steph Curry, again, if that had been a competitive game, I would have liked that more. I thought we were going to get killer Steph Curry in a closeout effort. He had 14 points. So Jaylen hit for you if you were feeling that, plus 225. He's been fantastic, by the way. Really has blossomed. My boy Tatum over 30 points. So they got picked themselves up by their bootstraps. We're in for a hell of a fun Friday night in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm very excited for what's to come in that series, as we've talked about. But before we get into our picks and talking about the Suns, just wanted to remind you, the DraftKings Sportsbook app has a great offer going on for new customers. You can bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game in the playoffs. When you sign up using that promo code PHNX, and get $150 in free bets if they win. So take the Suns money line tonight as they close out this series if you want some free money. But if you're not a new customer, you can use the same game parlay feature. And if you bet up to 3 legs in a same game parlay and one of them fails, you can get up to $25 back in free bets. It's just that easy when you use the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. Most of all, it's fun. So if the Suns put up an uninspiring performance and Chris Paul isn't great again tonight, you can still have some fun watching the game if you bet on some other props. But I don't think that's going to happen. Just remember, that's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Okay, before we get into the Suns talk, I just wanted to ask the chat a question. Chat, be realistic. Are you scared about tonight? And what do you think the spread is? Give your prediction, or who do you think wins and how much buy? Give your predictions in the chat. Keep your receipts. Show it to your friends. I think the Suns win pretty convincingly tonight. I think that they get out to a 10-point lead after halftime.
You think so?
Yeah, and they don't, because when the Suns team, they just haven't they haven't been able to get leads in the games that they've lost. But when they get leads in games, it's impossible to rip the lead out of their hands.
Can they not play a garbage shit first quarter, please? Like, even at home the other night, that was not a fun first quarter to go through. They clawed their way back. It was a 3-point deficit, and then they just smashed them from them on out. I needed competitive first quarter, because then I feel better about they're a second half team anyway.
Yeah.
If they're down by 10, 14, I think the officials are going to just say, listen, we're going to force this issue. We're going to go back and have a game 7. But if the Suns can assert their will early, I like their chances.
Yeah, I just, this is just one of those games where like old me would have been like, wow, this Suns team keeps surprising me. This is a game that's not going to surprise me, I don't think. I think the Suns are going to dominate tonight, and I hope they don't surprise me in the worst way, but I think they're going to kill it tonight. I'm really excited for the game. We got some predictions: Suns by 6, and then the troll Jay in the chat once again saying some stuff that he's scared of Luka, which is hilarious to me. And I have some Luka props we'll get into later, but first, let's get into our picks. Johnny, we both agree with what's going to happen in the 2 games tonight.
Wow. Hey, well, I told you, you will never, ever see me, at least for this postseason run, bet on the dirty-ass 76ers again. They are toast. Embiid and his broken body, James Harden and his washed-ass beard. They're done. The Heat are going to win. Take the Heat money line. This series is over. Doc Rivers, can we just talk about Doc Rivers for a second? Ever since that first Big 3 championship, the guy has been a major disappointment. And then I love the Suns tonight. I feel like the Suns are going to close it out. You can sprinkle a couple money line specials here. I do think the Suns are going to win by more than 2. Miami's winning this game tonight. I would love to be able to kick my feet back and be able to enjoy both games without sweating it out. I think the more likely scenario that happens is if the 76ers get down early, they will not fight back. They have no spine, no heart of a champion. Say what you want. Jimmy Butler is a killer. The 76ers should have never let him go. Just an egregious mistake by them. Should have kept that man happy. Miami's got a good culture. I don't think I think they have a very limited ceiling. We talk about it, but like there's a reason they're very competitive every year and have deep playoff runs without a ton of star power. So kudos to their culture. I think they win big tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. They're just a team on a mission. And if you want to take money lines and add a little bit more juice to them, you can take the 3-way money line, assuming another team goes into overtime, and get a little bit more juice and parlay those together. I don't know. I mean, this is just a game that the Suns are. It's a closeout.
You're going to be dumbfounded if they lose. You're convinced.
Yeah, it's a closeout game. It's a closeout game. That's all I have to say.
All right, give me. I don't know if this is one of your props or not, so you don't have to spoil it if it is. But what kind of performance are we getting from CP3 tonight? Is he old man in a Walker kind of performance, or are we getting the point guard tonight?
So the last couple games, like the last 3 games, I mean, yeah, there's been some uncharacteristic turnovers, but people saying he's been like really bad, I just don't agree with. Like, again, the turnovers are a little alarming, and it reminds you a little bit of last year with the wrist injury. I don't think he's injured. I think he's tired. Again, remember, there hasn't
kind of out of shape to me.
Well, he's 37, and there hasn't been an extra day of rest in this series. He's been playing back-to-back games, or not back-to-back, but you know what I mean. Like only 1 day of rest games this entire series.
To say he looks a little heavy.
You can. I don't think he does.
A little heavy. I don't know. He didn't play the second half of the season, so I think that that's an issue for somebody this age that's trying to come back and play against contenders. And the fact that they're going back to back, that's a concern. So hopefully he plays himself into shape. If he's not in shape,
you also have to remember Jason Kidd took some advice from the Pelicans, and they're going at him on defense, which wears him down. And it's not just wearing him down in the game; it's wearing him down in the series. One silver lining for Suns fans: if the worst happens tonight and they do lose and it goes to a game 7, they get 2 days of rest for the first time in the series. The game will be on Sunday, I believe. So that's something, but I don't think it's going to get to that point. I think we see Chris Paul kind of coast, and people get worried again, like, oh no, he doesn't look great. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, he explodes, finishes with 15 points when he had like 4 prior to that. And I think they close him out tonight. I think it resembles a lot of what happened with the Lakers series last year, where they went into LA. Devin Booker had 47 points, and Devin Booker got a technical. Jay Crowder got tossed because they were talking so much. I think we see a lot of that tonight. This isn't a friendly rivalry anymore. Luka and Booker don't like each other, and it's just that simple, and I love it so much. And so I'm expecting some fireworks tonight, win or lose, in the game. A lot of trash talk going to come the losing team's way for sure. And a lot of trash talk is probably going to be in in the chat tonight from both teams pending victory or loss.
Luka
Very
loves
excited
to
for
just
that.
back up that fat ass on Chris Paul and bump him around. And finally, Chris Paul was getting those calls late in the fourth quarter the other night. So expect that early, where he's just bumping into him.
Yeah.
Take it easy, man.
There's no Scott Foster tonight. I saw somebody ask that in the chat. No Scott Foster.
Thank the good Lord.
I don't think I just don't think it's going to play a factor. I really don't. I think they're going to dominate.
I think I'm going to be tweeting about the officials tonight.
Well, we'll see. Hey, I just want to say this, Suns fans. If there are some bad calls and the Suns win, you can still talk about it. Go ahead, even if it's against the Sun, or even if it's like, if it's bad calls against the Mavs. Go ahead, talk about it. Keep talking about it, because the problem is the officiating. It's not the officiating affecting the Suns. It's the officiating overall. So if Booker gets a
I thought
flop,
the officiating was fine in Phoenix.
Yeah,
funny how that works.
I thought it was still kind of bad. But if Booker sells a flop and there's a flagrant, talk about it. Go ahead, say this is bad for the game. Dude, just replicate the energy. Don't look like a one-sided guy. But this is why I think they're going to dominate tonight, because Luka's going to get his. So I'm taking this. These are my props. Luka Doncic over 4.5 threes. That is plus 200 right now in the DraftKings Sportsbook app. He's been terrible from the three-point line in the past 2 games. I think he's like 2 for 20. It's hilarious. And then CP3 to have more assists than Luka is minus 165. You're getting some value in that. Luka had a playoff career season low in assists last game with only 2. The Mavericks did not have a triple-double as a team. They only had 9 assists total, which is hilarious to me. So I'm taking both of these to the bank. I think the Suns realized that the first 2 games are what you need to do, and game 5 as well. You let Luka and Brunson beat you. You just let that happen. Because those 2 guys can't win the game by themselves. Spencer Dinwiddie, if he gets going, maybe it's a little scarier and you get a 3-headed snake, but he's been terrible too. I think you just let those 2 beat you. Defend the 5 out, as someone said earlier in the chat, and don't let the role players get hot. Don't let Bertans hit 5 threes in the first half again. Just defend the perimeter. Let Luka get his. If somebody gets in foul trouble, you're a deep team. Use campaign as a sponge of fouls if you need to. I think they'll be fine.
There is not a more punchable face than Davis Bertans.
Dude,
it's anybody. It's
the
so
amount
punchable.
of times I've commented on him.
he is such a little. I'm not gonna. Yeah, chipmunk. That you just want to. Right in his face, right in his dumb face. He is the biggest flopper too, even more so than Luka. The dude's 6'10", and some of those flops he had. That flop he had on that 3-pointer, they got the M1 the other night. Hated that. Yeah, I like your picks. I don't love them. I do love mine, by the way, here on PHNX Bets Daily. Here's what I got going on tonight. Book and Brunson, 24.5. This is a tasty special on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, plus 380. Brunson, to me, was way more impressive than Luka Doncic the other night. I thought he was playing much harder quarter to quarter, and he's great at getting a lot of these scrappy points. He's fantastic from the free throw line. I think if this is a blowout, he's somebody that's just going to go out and get his, whereas I think Luka will bow out gracefully, hopefully. I think that this, first of all, if Devin Booker doesn't have over 24 points tonight, I don't think the Suns are winning this game. So if I'm assuming the Suns are going to win this game, and they are, he's got to get over 24. And then Brunson, to me, was really impressive. He's been really good outside of those first 2 games. He's been great in Dallas. So plus 380, you gotta love that on the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Especially what I talked about. I think they're going to let them get hit theirs tonight. And then Jay in the chat says the more Luka posts, the less legs, the less likely to make threes. Luka will probably post, so he won't shoot threes. See, but this is what the Suns are going to try to defend against. Again, you say that, and you saw a lot of posting. He still shot 23s in the last 2 games. I mean, it's funny. I forget I was listening to, but somebody was like, Luka only took 23 shots last night. Only 23. He's a volume shooter. He needs to shoot. And the step back 3, I think Bill Simmons was talking about this. The step back 3 is so bad for this Mavs offense, because even when it goes in, it just means 1, he's going to shoot more, and 2, there's no offense being created around the ball. So you're not getting your role players involved. And the role players,
a little bit of James Harden in him in that sense, where
he's a taller James Harden right now.
Let me get mine. Let me average, 30 to 35. He's averaging 25, according to Charles in the chat. And then I think everybody else gets out of rhythm. He was at his best in those 2 games in Dallas, where he kind of deferred early and got everybody else involved. And they shot, like we talked about it yesterday, peak Golden State Warriors. 2017 Warriors from the 3-point line. That bullshit's not happening again. They didn't have that kind of rhythm during the regular season. And we saw that in Phoenix the other night, that most of those fluke 3-pointers that they had rimmed out, and the Suns dominated inside the paint. They had over 20 plus more points inside the paint. There is no equalizer for this Mavs team for DeAndre Ayton and the size that the Suns have. The Suns need to stick to that, even if the threes are falling for Dallas, because again, Cam Payne's been shooting better. That was a really nice rebound performance, but like Jay Crowder had a really inconsistent game 5. Like DeAndre Ayton's efficiency is so high that I think if they get away from that and try to match them 3 for 3 early on, they will lose again.
I think that the Suns are the top 3 of the Suns, Booker, Ayton, and Paul. Their true shooting percentage in this series is all over 64%, I believe.
It's unbelievable.
And guys, I know we're talking about the last 3 games, but just remember Chris Paul is still averaging 18 points a game in the series. So
I want to be wrong here, but he is just outside of that game 5 against the Pelicans. He's just been okay.
So I want to address this comment by Joel. Why did you take me saying James Harden as a disrespectful thing?
Well, because he's not a championship player.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the style of play. I'm a huge James Harden fan. I'm not saying the style of James Harden is a bad thing. I'm saying it's a great thing. He's a fantastic player. But the way that James Harden plays only works with certain teams. The 2018 Rockets with Chris Paul and James Harden, that works because you don't need the guys around you to shoot a lot. This type of Mavericks team, one, they're not crazy talented outside of Luka and Brunson.
No.
They're a very good 3-point shooting team. They're a great defensive team. They're a good team. I'm not taking away from anything from the Mavericks. I'm saying that he needs to get his players more involved because of the way the team's built, but that's not how Luka plays, and that's not how he should play because he's a fantastic player. He needs to be surrounded with teams like how LeBron gets surrounded, where there's shooters that don't need to shoot all the time. You need to surround your team with players that don't need to get theirs. And another comment by Joel earlier in the chat, he said, I RSVP'd for the event tonight. How expensive is this place? LOL. The Ainsworth, I think the watch party starts. What time's the game tonight? 6:30?
Yeah.
The watch party starts at 6. Be there, or the pregame starts at 6, and the watch party starts at 5.
Listen, everybody, real quick. If you're planning on watching the game, because of course you are, do it at the Ainsworth. Before you do that, though, I'm going to ask everybody just a quick hot minute favor. Log on, go PHNX.com, PHNX Sports on YouTube tonight, PHNX Cardinals, 4:45, a little bit of a pregame show en route to the 2022-23 NFL schedule announcement. We will be live tonight. Mark it on your iPhone, your calendars, your Android, 4:45. We're going to talk about all the leaks, the primetime games that the Cardinals will inevitably be snubbed for. The schedule release show officially starts at 5, but we're going to make it 4:45. We're going to have a good time right before that schedule drops. So before you get your Suns influx take in, come and hang with us at PHNX Cardinals tonight.
Yep, right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed. But you can still RSVP for the Ainsworth. It's a good time. The whole Suns crew will be out there talking pregame and postgame. And you can hang out, have some good food. And as I was saying, it's not very expensive. So don't worry about it. It looks the menu and the font looks like it's very pricey. It is not at all. It's very normal price for a burger. I think it's like $14. So go ahead and get and their fries are beautiful. So definitely head over there. It's going to be a good time. A couple more comments I want to address before we get out of here. Charles brings up a great point. Says transition points will run them out of their own gym.
Yep,
I completely agree with that. If you remember the third quarter in game 5, the Suns forced 12 turnovers in just the third quarter alone. I think had like 20 points off of turnovers in just that quarter alone. It was just a ridiculous performance. Luka is not a floor general having a center he wouldn't use properly. Well, it depends on the type of center. This is what I was talking about. You got to surround yourself with players that would complement Luka and not try to be ball dominant. Like Rudy Gobert would be an incredible addition to this Dallas team.
Here's the thing. This is the end all be all between these two teams, in my opinion, and why I think the Suns are the runaway favorite to win the West. Devin Booker scores 35 points. The Suns are going to win outright easily in most scenarios because of the depth and talent they have on this team. Luka scores 35. They make it blown out by 20 points, right? That's just Devin Booker needs to get his. We saw it the other night. He is the straw that stirs this drink for the Phoenix Suns. Everybody feeds off his energy. On the flip side, to Shane's point, when Luka plays his ball dominant style, everybody else just kind of, melts under pressure. They can't get into a rhythm. Devin Booker brings out the best in his teammates. Luka Doncic does not. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, it's just the way he plays, and it's not something that I'm not trying to take anything away from him. Like that's not what I'm saying. Like it's just the way he plays. I think that it needs to be built better around him. Also, I want to address a comment. Jay, you are just grasping. You're just reaching, man.
Give this man some credit.
He says Luka with Dwight Powell kills in the pick and roll. LMAO. Oh, does he? Mr. 14 minutes a game, averaging 2 points and 3 rebounds.
Oh God, Shane's pulling out stats.
Sure. I'm just so sick of it. He doesn't kill in the pick and roll with anybody against the Suns.
Give me your James Harden stat line for tonight.
James Harden or
yeah,
Luka?
James Harden. I want a James Harden stat line for tonight.
21 points, 8 assists, 9 turnovers.
I'm gonna say he's shooting. I'm gonna say he shoots 30% tonight from the field. I'm gonna say he has like 17 points and just looks completely dejected. And I think this could be his last game in Philadelphia. I think they could ship his ass out of town.
Yeah,
or is he? He might be a free agent.
It's a strange situation with him. And then Jay bringing up stats right back at me. Most points off the pick and roll this season.
Yeah,
Damian Lillard, second Trae Young, Luka in third. Okay, that has nothing to do with the series.
Get his ass, Jay. You should also go get some of our gear. Go PHNX.com. PHNX merchandise locker. Look at that flipping fire hat from Shane. You can get that right now. It's hot though. They may run out, so better go grab one. You can also get a membership at GoPHNX.com. 50 cents for the first month, $8.99 for the subsequent months. Or you guys, everybody go do this right now. Just under $60. You can get the membership for the entire year. Articles, member Discord, so much hot shit on that website. Plus, you get a free t-shirt when you sign up right now at GoPHNX.com. Deals. Yep. I'm dishing out like Chris Paul should be. I'm dishing out deals.
Yeah, guys, as I said, RSVP to the Ainsworth right now. You can find that on our Twitter at PHNX_sports. And yeah, it should be a fun time, regardless of what happens in the game tonight. And for the Mavs fans in the chat, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the back.
How many primetime games are the Cardinals getting tonight, Chano?
4.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Deef. You can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. And we'll be back tomorrow, every Monday through Friday at noon. With or without you, Mavs fans, we appreciate
Come back and hang out. We love you, Mavs fans.
Win or lose tonight for the Suns, I would love to have you back. You can talk all the shit about if Luka has 15 assists to strictly Dwight Powell on pick and rolls. Jay, you can come in here and talk shit.
I'm so glad you found this, Mav fans. Love you.
Yeah, but seriously, appreciate everybody that's watching. As I said, every Monday through Friday right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. We appreciate you. Peace, love, and PRA.